live direct from the A&R studios. It's the Empire of Nerd podcast. Here's your host, the PokéTrooper.
Yes, thank you, lovely assistant, for that wonderful intro. It is I, your host, the PokéTrooper, and this is the Empire of Nerd podcast. How's it going, everybody? Just me today. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do this review for you guys because, like I said, I told you this past weekend, things are going to be kind of, touch and go right now with the podcast as, Dr. Snake and I try to figure out how to get everything going on. So, until then, I might do a couple on my own. We're trying to plan something out, so maybe we can get Dr. Snake in the studio every so often, maybe once a month, twice a month. We'll see how it works out, but in the meantime, let me get right into this review. And as always, I'm going to be using the 5 pillars of gaming, and those are graphics, gameplay, controls, sound, and story. Now, the game I'm reviewing for you guys today, you already know, I've been playing this for a while too. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Off the bat, I will say, if you played this originally as a kid, oh man, the nostalgia and the feelings you get from this thing are through the roof. So let's get to this. First off, number 1, graphics. Now, graphics have been updated big time. It looks amazing compared to the originals. Obviously, PS1 to PS4, it's 2-3 generations of gaming right there. So the game looks amazing, that is without a doubt. So we'll go ahead and just off the bat, not too much talking on it, give that a 5 because it just looks just amazing. Now, gameplay, not much to it. Different modes for skating. You're gonna have, obviously, you have your story mode, so quote unquote story mode, but really it's just the usual stuff. Collect the word skate, collect the secret tapes. If you're using your creative skater, you can find actual little extra points to go towards your stats. Try to get the high score, the pro score, the 6 score, try to string the biggest combos. And each level has its own little things here and there, ollie over the car, smash through the boxes, grind the rail, this and that, blah blah. So as far as gameplay goes, it's pretty simple. Not really anything too amazing. Again, if you've been playing from the beginning, nothing new for you here. So it's very responsive, it's very good. So I will go ahead and just give it a 4.4. I will say a 4. Nothing new, but then again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So next part, we're going to talk about controls. Now, controls are actually very, very tight on this. It's very, very good. I remember playing the original, and sometimes you'd be like, I swear I put that input in right, this and that. But controls are super, super tight. It's super tight. And the cool thing about it is you can go ahead and use a joystick. Obviously we're in the modern era, so it's why not use a joystick? But if you like the kind of the simplicity of the cross pad, you can still use it. I find myself switching between the two very, very easily. Same as all the other games. You have your square for your flips, your triangle for your grinds, your stalls, circles for your grabs, X's to ollie, and then just different things. You can hit triangle by a wall and wall ride, or just jump, or hit X again while going towards the wall and get a you bounce off the wall. I forgot what to call it, but shoulder buttons do different things. I think L1, R1 spin you in different ways, and then L2, R2 actually get you over a lip on a pull or sometimes a half pipe, something like that. And then obviously all those other controls, you kind of combine them with your different directionals to get different moves. Up and down, left, right, diagonally, all that stuff is going to give you a different move set. And then up and down, or down and up, it's going to give you a different type of manual, nose manual, front manual, back manual, whatever it is. So controls, good. My one complaint, this is honestly, I can think of 2 complaints about this whole game, and one of them is just just seems kind of fast. Takes a little getting used to. I don't recall the original being this fast, you know, when you're trying to like roll around and do whatever, but for whatever reason, it feels really, really quick. I don't know what it is. Something about it is just like bam, 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 like just on the go. But you get used to it fairly quickly, and you don't get too dizzy or anything from that. You know, the camera is very whatever, but the good thing, it tends to stay right behind you the whole time, so you don't get too lost. Everything looks good. Like I said, honestly, just because of the speed thing, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.5. That's it, just half a point. But it's still fun. Like I said, very responsive, very good. Cannot complain about it. Number 2, sound. Now this is where things get interesting. So, honestly, sound is amazing. It sounds like you're on a skateboard. The sound of the wheels as you go over different types of terrain. You have your cement, sand, grass, dirt, you know, things like that. As soon as your wheels roll over something different, the sound changes automatically. So you get the real feeling of like, yeah, you're going over this. And then once you start hitting like the ramps, you hear the wheels over the wood. You hear your trucks going across the rails and things like that. All sounds really amazing. Sound is top notch. The music is cannot complain about music. For the most part, you get the original track list from both 1 and 2, and you know, I think they cut a couple due to like licensing and things like that. So, but for the most part, all the biggest hits are on there. You know, 1, 2, this and that. I mean, it just sounds awesome. Like, and the cool thing now, so before we didn't have the joysticks, you only had the cross pad. So now while you're playing, on the bottom right corner of the screen, it'll show you like, you know, artist and the song that's playing. And y'all can also press R3 to skip ahead. Now, I haven't done too much digging into the game so far yet, so I don't know if it still holds over, but there actually used to be an option where you can actually choose what songs you want to play while you're playing. So you can actually like, well, if I don't like this song, I'll cut that off the song list. And I like this song, so I'll make sure that's on there. And you can just, if you wanted to play like the same 3, 4, or even the same one song over and over again, you could. So I haven't looked into it, but you were able to do that on the first one. So there's still a chance you might be able to. Have to look into it. But yeah, I mean, even the new tracks. So obviously they evened out some older tracks that they lost with some of the newer tracks. And I mean, even the new tracks are really good, really strong songs. I mean, I've yet to hear something I really don't either enjoy or at least feel like, okay, this goes with the settings. So and then everything, like all of those sound effects of, you know, when you collect skate or when you go over like, you know, the gaps or whatever, the camera snaps, you know, the cars and all that stuff, all the different sound effects, you know, everything sounds really clear, really crisp. So easily sound, gotta give it a 5. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's too good. Now, story, there's not really a story to it. I mean, you jump on your skateboard, you go on your way, you know. Once I started getting to the later years of the later versions of the game, you know, 3, 4, underground, all that stuff, they started putting more of a story into it. It was a simple story, you know. Oh, you're the new up and coming skater, you have to cut your teeth on the different parks and all this stuff. And so you would go around the world and like interact with different skaters, and they would ask you to do different things. You know, it was pretty simple. For sure one didn't have that, so it's like, it's just simply just get on the board and go. So story wise, I mean, there's no story in it really. So you know what, honestly, simplicity is the best. You know, you're not going to win any story writing awards with this game, but it is what it is. We'll give it a 3 average. You know, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why add to a game that was good enough as it is? So got the scores. Graphics are 5, gameplay 4, so that's already 9 right there. Controls are 4.5, so 9 plus 4.5 is 13, right? My math is horrible. Right, yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and a half. plus sound, that's up to 18 and a half, and then 3 for story, 21 and a half points. So still fairly in the gold tier, you know. I think I still haven't really decided how I'm gonna work the tiers. I haven't really broken up, but easily still within gold tier. So gold tier game. Overall score between 0 and 5, I still gotta give it a 4.5. You know, it's top notch, great stuff. You know, you can't really improve upon it. It's just simplicity at its best. You know, just get on your board, go this and that, collect skate. You know, this and that. Do I wish there's some of the newer things that were in there, like maybe more of a story? Sure, but you don't really need it. Like, it's great. Like I said, my only 2 complaints. One, it does seem a little fast when you're going, but then when you're messing with the stats of your skater and your creative skater thing and all that, you know, it fixes it right up, so not an issue. And number 2, the biggest travesty of all, Rodney Mullen still has trash stats. I don't know who he pissed off with Activision or what, but it's just it's a travesty. He's such a fantastic skater, and yet his stats are the worst. So other than that, gold tier game, 4.5. This is definitely a buy, and at $40 you cannot miss out. Now, some of the things on this game, this is really cool. So when I first heard about it, I was kind of like, well, how's it going to work, this and that, blah 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 blah. Well, it's actually it's pretty much both 1 and 2 on one disc, so you don't have to quit and boot up the other game or anything like that. It's just right, everything from the get-go, right on the front screen. You hit, you know, story mode, you know, whatever, and you can choose from 1, 2, or your or free skate, you know, which is, you know, it's always fun. So free skate gives you all the levels off the bat. You know, you don't really have to grind for them, you know, like in the originals. You just kind of jump into it and you can just do whatever you want. And then actually straight from the get-go, you can actually put mods straight from the game, so you don't actually need to put on all the codes you used to have to before. So the mods you get are, I believe, you know, perfect rail balance, perfect manual balance, perfect stall balance, I think no bails, and always special. So, you know, really simple, just kind of like just something to ensure that you're gonna have fun, this and that. And then as you complete the tasks, you get different characters, or no, I'm sorry, you actually get the different tapes and all this stuff. And you can go into the store and actually buy all sorts of different stuff. You have different decks, different wheels, grip tape, different clothes. You can get shirts, hats, down to your socks, what kind of socks you want to wear. And the creative skater is actually pretty decent. It's not the greatest, you know, there have been better like creative character modes in other games, but this one isn't bad. It gives you, again, they kept it simple. You get to choice from like a whole bunch of preset faces, you know, a bunch of preset hair, your skin tones, and then you can choose things like facial hair and tattoos and things like that. You can't really mess with height or weight, or you can't mess with like the size of the nose or the mouth, whatever. So like I said, they keep it very, very simple, very easy, very accessible. So that's the cool thing. Other than that, I mean, it's like you can't really, there's not much to the game, you know. It's the original game as it is, and all it is just updated graphics, better controls, the sound. Like I said, the music is spot on. All the songs, most of the favorites are back from the original game. You are losing a few of the tracks, but they are replaced by newer tracks that have been added, you know. And then you get to the characters themselves. Now, growing up, these were huge heroes for me, you know, Tony Hawk, Chad Muska, Rodney Mullen, Jeff Rowley, all these guys, Steve Caballero, all of them, you know, were huge influences on my younger life. You know, just skateboarding was the greatest thing back in the day. So they're all back, you know. And the cool thing that I thought was actually really, really interesting is they're all, obviously it's all going to be in the same outfits that they were wearing in the original game, but the character models themselves are actually aged up to what they look like now. So I mean, that's the cool thing. So And then on top of that, you can always unlock different clothes, different boards, things like that for each of the characters. But again, the fun part is the actual created character. So you create your character, you choose your board, this and that, and you earn money through like challenges, completing tasks, completing the levels, things like that. You can go over to the skate shop, and the skate shop has everything that you're going to want to buy. Again, your clothes, your decks, your wheels, things like that, all that different stuff. And you know, it's really cool. And then you have your creative park. Creative park is back, and creative park is pretty it's pretty simple, you know, this time around too. So pretty much it gives you like this nice open area, and just you go through all the different lists and you choose what you want: ramps, half pipes, bowls, rails, things like that. You can even put in like different props and different like dynamic props, which would be like trash cans or dumpsters or boxes, things you can break if you go through them. And you can set them up and however you want, and then you can actually save it, upload it, and people can play it. And that's the cool thing. So then people can go on to the online portion, the multiplayer portion of the maps of the game, and they can actually play your map that you created. And it'll say your name, and it'll say, you know, name of the park, a little description, things like that. And you can actually have an option to remix it, which is pretty cool. So say like you create a park and it's pretty perfect, you know, you like it, you upload it, but then I realized like, oh, maybe you can move a couple things here and maybe just add this to add a little variety. I can actually download your map, add some things to it, and then re-upload it, and people can play it. So, and it gives you the information of both the original poster and the person that remixed it. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot of stuff you can do with it. So, I mean, again, $40, brand new game. You cannot go wrong with this. If purely for the nostalgia factor. I mean, this game, I felt like I was 7, 8 years old again. You know, it's so fun, so good. Brings back all these memories of your childhood. So, definitely recommend. Gold tier, 4.5. Go on and go check it out. Go pick it up at your nearest store or order or whatever, blah blah blah, guys. But that's the review, guys. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming in. And you know, all the usual stuff. You know, everything's in the description box. You know, our Instagram pages, all the good stuff. Give us a like the video. Give us a follow. Subscribe. Share the video. And to all our new subscribers, we have a couple new subscribers. I want to say welcome to the show. Thank you for following us, and let us know, how did you hear about us, or who told you about us, or whatnot. You know, we want to see, we want to grow, we want to be close with our followers, with our community. So again, thank you guys. As always, take care, be safe. Until next time, smell you later, nerds.